ഹലോ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ്, ടിപ്സ് കഫേയുടെ പുതിയൊരു വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. ഇന്ന് KTET സൈക്കോളജി എന്ന വിഭാഗത്തിൽ നിന്നുള്ള മുൻവർഷങ്ങളിൽ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട എല്ലാ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിക്കൊണ്ടാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ വീഡിയോ തയ്യാറാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ വീഡിയോ എല്ലാവരും മുഴുവനായും കാണുക. വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട എല്ലാവരും ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുക, ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുക, ചാനൽ സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുക. അപ്പോൾ വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. Social learning theory is associated with option A, Skinner, option B, Albert Bandura, option C, Maslow, option D, Kohler. Social learning theory is associated with answer is option B, Albert Bandura. According to Erikson, a person passes through how many conflict stages in his life? Option A 4, option B 6, option C 8, option D 10. According to Erikson, a person passes through how many conflict stages in his life? Answer is option C 8. Chief exponent of meaningful verbal learning theory. Chief exponent of meaningful verbal learning theory. Option A, Vygotsky. Option B, Gagnes. Option C, Piaget. Option D, Oswald. Chief exponent of meaningful verbal learning theory. Answer is option D, Oswald. Which of the following stage does not come under Kohlberg's stage of moral development? Option A, conventional. Option B, pre-conventional. Option C, post-conventional. Option D, pre-operational. Answer is option D, pre-operational. Adjustment mechanism in which individual tries to defend himself by blaming others for his own fault is option A, projection. Option B, compensation. Option C, regression. Option D, repression. Adjustment mechanism in which individual tries to defend himself by blaming others for his own fault is option A, projection. A teaching technique especially used in teachers' pre-service education to train them teaching skill systematically is option A, team teaching. Option B, micro teaching. Option C, models of teaching. Option D, shared teaching. Answer is option B, micro teaching. The application of skills, knowledge and attitudes that were learned in one situation is transferred to another learning situation is called option A, readiness. Option B, reinforcement. Option C, transfer of learning. Option D, principles of learning. Answer is option C, transfer of learning. The psychosexual development theory is proposed by option A, Carl Roger. Option B, Freud. Option C, Erikson. Option D, Piaget. Answer is option B, Freud. Which among the following is not a trait of gifted student? Which among the following is not a trait of gifted student? Option A, unusual alertness. Option B, excellent memory. Option C, rapid learner. Option D, stupidity. Answer is option D, stupidity. The humanistic model of hierarchy of needs was developed by. The humanistic model of hierarchy of needs was developed by. Option A, Carl Rogers. Option B, Eric Berne. Option C, Abraham Maslow. Option D, Erikson. Answer is option C, Abraham Maslow. Learning theory that focuses on reinforcement is. Option A, Skinner's operant conditioning. Option B, Thorndike's trial and error. Option C, Pavlov's conditioning. Option D, Gestalt theory. Answer is option A, Skinner's operant conditioning. Which of the following is not a learner-centered teaching strategy? Which of the following is not a learner-centered teaching strategy? Option A, Co-operative learning. Option B, brainstorming. Option C, discussion. Option D, direct instruction. Answer is option D, direct instruction. According to Piaget's sensory motor stage, the object continue to exist when they are hidden from view. This is termed as. Option A, assimilation. Option B, object permanence. Option C, visualization. Option D, accommodation. Answer is option B, object permanence. National Curriculum Framework NFC was framed in. National Curriculum Framework NFC was framed in. Option A, 2004. Option B, 2005. Option C, 2009. Option D, 2003. Answer is option B, 2005. Which of the following strategy is most suitable for inclusive education? Which of the following strategy is most suitable for inclusive education? Option A, multisensory teaching. Option B, cooperative learning. Option C, peer tutoring. Option D, all the above. Answer is option D, all the above. A good description of progressive teacher is. Option A, reservoir of content knowledge. Option B, follows traditional style of teaching. Option C, allows flexibility in classroom. Option D, follow linear instruction. A good description of progressive teacher is. Answer is option C, allow flexibility in classroom. Chief exponent of social constructivism. Option A, Vygotsky. Option B, Gagnes. Option C, Piaget. Option D, Oswald. Chief exponent of social constructivism. Answer is option A, Vygotsky. Which among the following is the least affecting factor in learning? Which among the following is the least effective factor in learning? Option A, motivation. Option B, social status. Option C, intelligence. Option D, interest. Answer is option B, social status. The period during which the reproductive system matures can be termed as. Option A, childhood. Option B, puberty. Option C, later adolescence. Option D, adulthood. The period during which the reproductive system matures can be termed as. Answer is option B, puberty. The addictive use of legal and illegal substance by adolescents is called. Option A, delinquency. Option B, psychosis. Option C, neurosis. Option D, substance abuse. The addictive use of legal and illegal substance by adolescents is called. Answer is option D, substance abuse. Assessment that measures a student's performance based on mastery of a specific set of skills. Option A, diagnostic assessment. Option B, norm referenced. Option C, benchmark assessment. Option D, criterion referenced. Answer is option B, norm referenced. Memory that allows recall for a period of several seconds to a minute without rehearsal is termed as. Option A, sensory memory. Option B, short-term memory. Option C, long-term memory. Option D, episodic memory. Answer is option B, short-term memory. A system of school-based evaluation of students that covers all aspects of students' development. Option A, continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Option B, formative evaluation. Option C, summative evaluation. Option D, product evaluation. Answer is option A, continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Motivation comes from within the students or from factors inherent in the task being performed is called. Option A, intrinsic motivation. Option B, extrinsic motivation. Option C, reinforcement. Option D, feedback. Answer is option A, intrinsic motivation. The ability to come up with new ideas through a mental process of connecting existing concepts. Option A, motivation. Option B, creativity. Option C, intelligence. Option D, interest. Answer is option B, creativity. Behaviors are acquired through association between stimuli and responses. The theory associated with this view is. Option A, constructivism. Option B, cognitivism. Option C, behaviorism. Option D, Gestalt theory. And answer is option C, behaviorism. The approach which is not suitable for classroom management and academic engagement. Option A, encourage initiative. Option B, behavior reinforcement. Option C, build excitement for content. Option D, give corporal punishments. Answer is option D, give corporal punishments. If the past memories inhibit an individual's full potential to retain new memories, it is referred as. Option A, retroactive interference. Option B, proactive interference. Option C, memory traces. Option D, retrieval. Answer is option B, proactive interference. Which of the following is not a developmental task of adolescents? Option A, learning to get along with friends of both sexes. Option B, becoming more self-sufficient. Option C, making decisions about marriage and family life. Option D, grasping leads to other fine motor skills. Answer is option D, grasping leads to other fine motor skills. According to Gagnes' hierarchy of learning, which of the following does not focus on the cognitive aspects? Option A, problem solving. Option B, principle learning. Option C, signal learning. Option D, concept learning. Answer is option C, signal learning. The individual's personality is the product of option A, maturation and experience. Option B, learning and morality. Option C, heredity and environment. Option D, nature and learning. The individual's personality is the product of, answer is option C, heredity and environment. The study of perception and behavior from the standpoint of an individual's response to configurational holds is option A, constructivism. Option B, cognitivism. Option C, conditioning. Option D, Gestalt theory. Answer is option D, Gestalt theory. The application of skills, knowledge and attitudes that were learned in one situation is transferred to another learning situation is called option A, readiness. Option B, reinforcement. Option C, transfer of learning. Option D, principles of learning. Answer is option C, transfer of learning. The influence of friends, especially of adolescents, and most often a major contributor to the initiation of substance abuse is option A, peer pressure. Option B, group pressure. Option C, cohesion. Option D, intrapersonal relationship. Option A, answer is option A, peer pressure. According to Piaget, the cognitive process that manages how we take in new information and incorporate that new information into our existing knowledge is option A, accommodation. Option B, assimilation. Option C, shaping. Option D, insight. Answer is option B, assimilation. Which of the following is not a characteristic of adolescence? Option A, risk-taking behavior. Option B, hero worshipping. Option C, emotional stability. Option D, daydreaming. Which of the following is not a characteristics of adolescence? Answer is option C, emotional stability. Programmed instruction is an educational implication of option A, classical conditioning. Option B, operant conditioning. Option C, insight learning. Option D, cognitive learning. Answer is option B, operant conditioning. Main aspects of inclusive education includes option A, zero rejection policy. Option B, education and CWSN in a latest restrictive environment. Option C, flexibility in planning. Option D, all the above. Answer is option D, all the above. Overlearning is a strategy for enhancing Option A, memory. Option B, interest. Option C, aptitude. Option D, forgetting. Overlearning is a strategy for enhancing. Answer is option A, memory. The stage of fastest physical growth is option A, infancy. Option B, early childhood. Option C, later childhood. Option D, adolescence. Answer is option A, infancy. A heuristic is option A flash of insight. Option B, a way of making decision. Option C, a mental set. Option D, a guiding principle used in problem solving. A heuristic is, answer is option D, a guiding principle used in problem solving. Which of the following is not a characteristic of gifted children? Option A, high achievement motivation. Option B, persistence. Option C, low achievement. Option D, above average intelligence. Which of the following is not a characteristic of gifted children? Answer is option C, low achievement. If a student frequently gets low academic grades, much below than his potential level, he can be considered as option A, underachiever. Option B, gifted. Option C, mentally retarded. Option D, slow learner. Answer is option A, underachiever. Normally, an adolescent is in which stage of cognitive development? Normally, as adolescent is in which stage of cognitive development? Option A, sensor motor stage. Option B, pre-operational stage. Option C, concrete operational stage. Option D, formal operational stage. Answer is option D, formal operational stage. The most important function of the teacher is to option A, impart content knowledge. Option B, maintain strict discipline among students. Option C, teach problem solving techniques. Option D, guiding pupil growth. Answer is option D, guiding pupil growth. Cultural expectations for male and female behavior are called. Cultural expectations for male and female behavior are called. Option A, gender roles. Option B, gender bias. Option C, gender sensitivity. Option D, gender discrimination. Answer is option A, gender roles. Which is not a product of learning? Which is not a product of learning? Option A, attitudes. Option B, knowledge. Option C, maturation. Option D, skills. Which is not a product of learning? Answer is option C, maturation. A teacher who promotes creativity in her classroom must encourage. A teacher who promotes creativity in her classroom must encourage. Option A, closed-ended questions. Option B, open-ended questions. Option C, teacher talk. Option D, direct instruction. Answer is option B, open-ended questions. In psychology, projection refers to a option A, mental disorder, option B, teaching method, option C, defense mechanism, option D, memory technique. Answer is option C, defense mechanism. Chomsky proposed that children learn a language. Option A, through observation, option B, through conditioning, option C, because they possess an innate language acquisition device, option D, through imitation and reinforcement. Answer is option C, because they possess an innate language acquisition device. Which of the following act provide special privileges for children with special needs? Option A, PWD Act 1995, option B, National Trust Act 1999, option C, both A and B, option D, RTE Act 2009. Answer is option C, both A and B. In the basic experiment of Pavlov on conditioning food is the option A, conditioned stimulus, option B, conditioned response, option C, unconditioned response, option D, unconditioned stimulus. In the basic experiment of Pavlov on conditioning food is the option D, unconditioned stimulus. Which of the following is not a characteristics of constructivist teacher? Option A, mentor, option B, facilitator, option C, authoritarian, option D, democratic leader. Answer is option C, authoritarian. Which of the following is not a defense mechanism? Option A, reception, option B, repression, option C, reaction formation, option D, rationalization. Which of the following is not a defense mechanism? Answer is option A, reception. Which of the following is an enquiry-based method? Which of the following is an enquiry-based method? Option A, project, option B, discussion, option C, seminar, option D, symposium. Which of the following is an enquiry-based method? Answer is option A, project. Effective teaching is mainly dependent upon option A, teacher's communication skill, option B, teacher's interest in teaching, option C, teacher's attitude towards teaching, option D, student's level of the intelligence. Answer is option A, teacher's communication skill. An emotionally intelligent person is characterized as option A, empathetic, option B, sympathetic, option C, aggressive, option D, impulsive. Answer is option A, empathetic. Which sense is least active in a newborn baby? Which sense is least active in a newborn baby? Option A, auditory, option B, visual, option C, tactile, option D, gustatory. Answer is option B, visual. Right to education covers children between the age group. Right to education covers children between the age group. Option A, 6 to 18 years. Option B, 6 to 14 years. Option C, 6 to 15 years. Option D, 6 to 17 years. Answer is option B, 6 to 14 years. ഇന്നത്തെ വീഡിയോ എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു കാണുമെന്ന് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടാൽ എല്ലാവരും ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുക, ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുക, ചാനൽ സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യുക. അപ്പോൾ അടുത്തൊരു വീഡിയോയുമായി വീണ്ടും കാണാം. ബൈ.